I'm Dave Hamilton, Director of Operations of the Advanced Energy Center. On our show today, we'll be exploring energy, both the energy that we require to stay alive and the energy it takes to become stars in our fields of work. So let's get right to it. My guest today is Jim Aloise. Jim is the Executive Director of PowerBridge New York, which is a proof of concept center in New York City. He's also Director of Strategic Initiatives at Columbia University. Welcome, Jim. How are you?
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. I'm glad you can make it. Why don't we just jump in? Tell us about your programs. You're very involved in the ecosystem. Tell us what you're up to and what your roles are, and how you move and work with entrepreneurs.
Okay, sounds great. So I'll start off with the PowerBridge New York, which is the Clean Tech Proof of Concept Center, as you mentioned, and that is a joint operation that we have with 5 other downstate institutions beyond Columbia University, where I work. It's also Stony Brook, where you are, NYU, City University of New York, Brookhaven National Lab, and Cornell Tech. And it's all focused on technologies coming out of those 6 institutions that are clean tech focused and trying to bring them to market. We take our teams through a boot camp. We teach them the business model canvas. We teach them to go talk to customers. What a radical idea to actually talk to the marketplace before you come to the market. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch them transform over the course of going through the program. We also have a few other programs that are part of that strategic initiatives hat that I wear. That a couple of them are also clean tech focused. The NYSERDA EIR program, where we match advisors and mentors to clean tech startups throughout the entire state to try to give them short-term help with a particular problem that they're having. We have a second program very close to that called the Clean Tech Venture Exchange, or CVX. And that is the same idea of working with those clean tech companies in the state of New York, anywhere that they happen to be, but really the latter stage where they might need somebody like a seasoned executive, someone who's been around the block a few times and can help them bring their company to the market. We have one just like that in life sciences as well, called LSVX, Life Sciences Ventures Exchange, with a different group of, that one's focused in the downstate New York area. And then the last program that's part of that is what we call the Lab to Market program. And that is a support organization that we have at Columbia to help us with the, I guess, 7 or 8 now accelerators that we either run or co-run with other organizations, where we can have people who have just done a lot of the same things that accelerators need to do over and over and over again. And especially this is valuable when we bring new accelerators on board, where they may not know things as simple as, where to find a venue that has 250 people capacity and you can bring in your own catering and it has good acoustics. And rather than have them learn all those things from the ground up, we have people who've done it many times and can just turn the crank and do the next event or whatever it happens to be.
Great. They're great programs. You've collaborated with our Clean Energy Business Incubator program in the past. Why do you, you've got your whole network that you've built, but why do you collaborate with outside entities, and what value does that bring to your programs and to help with the growth of a startup company?
It's incredible how working together with these other organizations can really help extend all of our own networks. So in fact, we've got a great example coming up in September, which we're collaborating with you guys on, where we are doing a showcase with a bunch of our companies that have come through the program, the current ones that are in the program, alumni, let's call them, teams and companies that are in your program. We've got several other partner organizations. And the nice thing about it is that even as broad as we've grown each of our individual networks, they're still not as big as all of them are collectively. So by having these joint events, where we're going to have over 60 companies on display talking about their new technologies that they're trying to bring to market, bringing in investors, bringing in advisors, all the kinds of people in that ecosystem that we want to meet each other, it's really helpful to be able to leverage all of our networks rather than try to rely on our own.
Yeah. And would you say there's value outside of bringing in the investors and all those other folks, of just getting the companies together amongst themselves and have these, the CEOs and the entrepreneurs chat just with each other? Do you see a value to that?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we've designed the evening so that the first hour of it is just so that they talk to each other. There will be no one else in the room, and they have to be set up, ready to go when the rest of the program starts, and it is only for them to meet each other, talk about some of their common problems or joys and things that they've experienced. So yeah, that's a key part of it.
It's critical for them because they don't know what they don't know, but when they're talking to each other, then they get a sense of he's been there or she's been there, and they learn from each other.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you compare that to something like where we tell them something. Wouldn't they much rather hear from someone who's actually lived it and is in the mix just like they are right now? And it's really powerful.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that we like to partner with you and your programs as well for that benefit, expanding the horizons. So you work with startups every day. Every single day you wake up and you get to work with the startup companies that are part of PowerBridge and part of the whole ecosystem. You've seen their successes, you've seen their failures firsthand. If you had to say what was the main reason, you have to say, because I'm asking,
Right.
what are the main reasons for their failures, and what maybe one or two of the main reasons that they're doing things right, that they succeed?
Well, and they probably sort of, they parallel each other, or they're the opposite of each other. If they do it, they're successful. If they don't do it, they're not successful. And easily one of the things that I would say we see is their coachability. If a team is willing to listen and to learn, they will be much more successful. They'll go out and they'll do their customer discovery, and they'll realize that this great idea they had to bring to the marketplace isn't quite right. They might have some sort of energy efficiency technology where they think that by dropping the efficiency, or I should say increasing it, to something like 50% instead of 20%, and everybody will buy it. Well, what they find out is they go out to the marketplace and they find out that things like reliability and repeatability and maybe cost are the things that really are important to them. And if they can get to 25% efficiency, that would be enough for them. And so that takes them on a different trajectory for developing their technology, because now they have a better handle on what the marketplace wants. And then the other one is cost as well. There are a lot of the technologies are all the technologists are convinced that they're able to drop the cost by let's say half, and that will bring all of the marketplace to their doorstep. And again, they find out that that's not the most important thing, and it's really rewarding to see them go out there, talk to customers, and learn on their own by testing their hypotheses about what they think the marketplace wants and needs, and then being willing to pivot and to take that advice from the marketplace.
Yeah. So you just use a lot of cool buzzwords from the Lean Launchpad.
Okay.
But that's what you do. Power Bridge New York uses the Lean Launchpad methodology and the business model canvas methodology to help your cohorts move forward. So talk about that program and why you guys chose that program to be the main tool to drive progress, and maybe some of the other key components that have been critical for helping these researchers transition from research to thinking about commercialization.
Yeah. Well, the business model canvas it's a really powerful tool, because it's an organized way to get them to think about, share, articulate the things that they learn when they go out to talk to customers. And of course, it makes them focus on certain areas of it. So the business model canvas, I'm not going to obviously describe the whole thing, but the right side of it is much more that customer focus side. Customer discovery is a very important process to find that product market fit. Again, I'm using a few of the Lean Launchpad terminologies here. But the idea that they need to go out and find out who the customer segments are that really care about what their product could do, what their problems are. And then that's the important part of how they need to look at it, is what is the value proposition that the customers see that this technology can solve? Not the other way around. They sometimes think they can convince the marketplace that they've got the neatest technology out there, but if it can't solve a problem that the customer has, then nobody's going to buy it. And that's part of what we teach them is, the business model canvas is a great way for them to capture all of these things that they learn, all their realizations, and be able to organize it, articulate it to each other, even within their team. It's a great tool for them to be able to communicate to each other about what they're learning in the marketplace.
Now, a lot of that sounds theoretical, right? Let's do customer discovery. Let's do this. Let's do that. You guys make them implement it for real. You've seen successes? Give us some success stories. Give us some examples where this has worked out in real life, let's say, not just in a textbook.
Sure. So one of the teams that we like to tee up for as an example of success is one of the teams that came through our first cohort, Lion Nano, and it's a lithium-ion battery technology that they brought to market. They came through the business. They came through our accelerator. They learned a lot. In fact, one of their investors called me as part of their due diligence and said that he wanted to start off by saying that he has never encountered a team that was so well versed in what the customer really needed, what the marketplace looked like, and credit it to the program having forced them to learn this by going out and talking to 100 customers. And so it turns out that they did end up making the investment. I think in total they've gotten about $30 million of investment now, which is terrific. And we recruited that investor to be one of our judges for future teams. So it was a win all the way around.
Outstanding. Great success story. All right, so to wrap this up, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts. I know we've only scratched the surface of everything you guys are up to. Looking at the innovation ecosystem that we're trying to build, you're trying to build, we're trying to build here at Stony Brook, Do you think we're on the right track? Do you think we're doing the right things? We have the right programs in place? Is there other things that you think we should think about as we move forward to continue to try to grow innovation and entrepreneurship?
Well, I think we've got the fundamentals of a really good set of programs. And they're all grounded in this idea that one of the most important things is to go out there and really find out what the marketplace needs and to do it interactively. You can't just do a survey, you can't send out emails, but to go out there and talk to the marketplace and test your hypotheses, get things wrong and learn as you go along the way. And I think that can be done in so many different ways, in so many different formats, with the same basic idea in there. All of these programs can implement them a little bit differently, but if you've got some of those fundamentals and you use some of those tools that help you, such as the business model canvas, they can really do some pretty remarkable things.
Great. So with that, Jim, thank you very much. Outstanding. Looking forward to working with you in the future. This has been Dave Hamilton, and you've been watching Energy. Thank you.